Good afternoon, guys. This is week 8. Week 8 was primarily focusing on leadership styles and understanding leadership from an empirical and also understanding it from how I apply leadership in a functioning and realistic environment. We discussed various aspects of leadership and leadership traits, leadership theories, and methods used to measure and understand how cohesiveness is affected by leadership styles and also different aspects and different orientation of leadership. The first reading mentioned the approaches and orientation of leadership by discussing the different types. They mentioned 4 different types of it, which is traditional. They also had the opportunity seekers. They also had the interrogators, as well as the idealistics. Economic is focused on short-term economic values, emphasizes in shares. The opportunity seekers are engaged in corporate responsibility activities for instrumental reasons. The integrators see profits as an outcome of responsibility in business conduct, and idealistic who are a broader perspective on their business responsibilities. So we get to see it from more of an industrial aspect of leadership and how it could be oriented and how it could be altered through that aspect, and how we have different properties of leadership in the sense of not just theories, but also how you apply those leadership styles and see how they alters in the organization. The first reading, I think, did a better job at explaining it because they were more oriented towards the actual empirical information and actually, collecting data and also seeing how it functions within 10 different organizations and how leadership worked and how it affected performance and cohesiveness. So they had 4 theories also, which is very strange. A lot of mentioning of 4 approaches, 4 theories of leadership. One thing mentioned was they did mention that there are leaders that the overpowering, powerless, power building, and empowering leadership. They stated that even though that we have various traits and various definition of leadership, you cannot compress that into, they try to compress it into 4 generalized style of leadership, because you cannot go into details about these because it varies in different leadership styles. But these 4 leadership styles, I think, was actually the best at explaining it, because yes, a leader must build trust and inspire teamwork, facilitate and also support team decisions. You cannot be a leader without your team, and you cannot remain a leader without actually building and inspiring your team. Facilitate and support team decisions as, yes, you want to be in control, but you want to be able to look over and trust the teammates. And a lot of articles explain that a good team leader is as good as only their team. And we do see that and also in the video, the TED Talk, when he spoke about the Marine and how in the submarine, if, this leader seemed like he was, in control of everything, but reality of it was he didn't understand every aspect of it. And as a leader, your job is not to control every aspect of your organization, but to create a team where you don't have to control every aspect and you can focus on the main substance of it. The theory of leadership, it did say that it did go on to explain you have to expand your team's capability, create team identity. These 2, I feel like they were kind of one, because you got to explain, like, once you create more opportunities and create more skills for your team, and as a team, you begin to form identity as a team. And even as an individual, I might be like, oh, I am a great medical builder, or I know how to get information. As I'm developing those skills, I see people around me are also developing that skill too. And before you know it, that becomes our identity. And every time we come to that social space, that workspace, it becomes who we are as a team. You also attack to make the most out of team diversity, which I previously explained, which is everybody agree with team diversity and just having different perspectives, which is something that everyone knows. Also, foresee and influence change. Now, a good thing about a team leader, is the ability to foresee change, and also influence it. I think that's the most critical aspect of team leader, because those who are able to see the way things are shifting are those who will be able to lead, and those who are able to actually change the outcome, because reality of it is, as a team, we're all going to face problems, and one of the most important thing about facing a problem is having a solution. So the primary, the initial thing is going to happen is going to be able to, identify that issue. And a team leader has to be able to identify that issue. I'm not saying like, a co-worker or somebody that below you cannot do it, but a good team leader will be able to understand that and will be able to also address it or also acknowledge it. Because, although we might not talk about it in politics, some of us believe that there is nothing wrong with the environment. There's no global warming. There's nothing changing. And a good leader would not be able to, necessarily, ignore that and just lie to the team. And yes, part of the first step is being able to admit that, yes, there's an issue. And even if you're not able to be the first one to it, I think a team leader will be able to also be able to, just admit to it, or just say, yes, there is an issue. And doesn't mean that they have to change it, but they could at least address it so they could be changed. Which is another example too, we have a leader who believes that global warming is not a thing at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, we are entitled to your own opinion, but when we have data and information giving you that, that these changes are occurring, you could say, okay, it's not as dangerous as before, but to deny it completely is kind of hectic. So as a leader, your job is to be able to acknowledge that and to, be able to address it. Another thing also would be the fact that a good team leader would help their team be more efficient, self-efficient. My instance, my boss is amazing because she teaches us. She don't want us to just get these things done, and she wants us to learn these things so that maybe if we're not there or she's not there, the juniors will be able to, okay, this is why A plus B plus C. We use that code because it's used with a catheter. So instead of 6323, we use 6325. So then you begin to see like how self-efficiency actually equals better work. And you can see how people are performing better. That knowledge that you have for yourself is not only just for this job, also you could actually bring it to your next job. And they're not focusing on teaching you in order for you to be just good in the team, but it's teaching you in order to be self-sufficient. So you want your team to be self-sufficient. And don't get me wrong, maybe they might outgrow you and leave you, but a good leader will want somebody to outgrow them, because your job is not to lead because you want to be a leader. You're leading because that's what you have to do. That's the position you was put in. And sometimes the leader has to step down. A bad leader to me would be a leader when he's like disengaged. And I always say also is authoritarian. I do not agree with authoritarianism. I do not believe that you can put 100% control in people, because you cannot control individuals. And if you want to expect a greater outcome, controlling individuals is not going to work. So